Have you dreamed of bigger things for your life? Then you are in the right place. Each week, you will be given tips on how to change your inner dialogue, conquer your goals, and ways to step into a higher version of yourself. I'm your host, Lauren Kubat. I'm a motivational speaker who hosts personal development events. I'm a sought-after fitness instructor, a wife, and a mom of 2 young boys. I'm obsessed with all things personal development, and I believe anyone can achieve the life they want. Let the Become Your Vision podcast be the inspiration you need to step into greater things. Now let's go. Hello. I said last time I would potentially start the podcast with an Australian accent. That was not. I don't know what that is, but here we are. Happy Wednesday. It is a solo episode, and it is all about rolling with the punches. When life throws things at you, trying to figure out how you can be more fluid and less rigid. And this is something that I've had to work extremely hard over the years, and it's still something that I have to work on. But I realize when I am more flexible, things go much easier. Like my mental state is better, and we're going to get all into that in just a second. I just want to take the time to thank everyone who has left a review. Some of you guys know that the podcast will be 1 year old at the end of next month, September. Oh my gosh, that's tomorrow. At the end of September. I was going to say at the end of September 1st, it'll be 1 year old. No, at the end of September, the podcast will be a year. And one of my goals is to have 100 reviews, because that helps with getting guests on the show and ranking higher on the Apple podcast list, and it shows credibility. And, you know, this is something I work extremely hard at, and I love it. But it's just like a little token back, I guess, to show that you're listening and that you care. So thank you all for that, leaving a review. Also, I checked last night. I like to check on this at least like once a week. I used to be really bad, like I checked every single night when I first started, which was so silly. But to see like where the podcast is being listened in, or where. And we're in 33 states, and that changes week by week, but I think that's the most I've ever had. 33 states in 1 month, which I think is incredible. Multiple countries. People have listened in Germany, in Australia, in Canada. The Netherlands was on there. I just think that's so cool, and it's because of you guys. It's because, you know, you share with your friends and your family and social media, and you leave a review, and it's so cool. So I appreciate each and every one of you and showing support and listening every week. It means a lot to me. So today's topic kind of came up because I had a interview scheduled and they had to cancel, which happens all the time. But lately I've been last minute on things like this, because my main focus right now is preparing every second that I have spare minute on the event. So like when I'm not with the kids or with my husband or family time or whatever, I'm thinking or preparing for this event somehow, whether it's posting on social media or reaching out to sponsors or checking in on the venue and things like that. It is, it's almost September, so we're only a few weeks away. And so I schedule, like last week, Kate Moon's episode was the day before, like the night before we recorded, and then it went up on Wednesday. And then today I was supposed to record earlier this afternoon, and they had to reschedule, which is fine. It totally happens. And then, and then I was going to record with my husband, because everybody loves when he is on, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about this next time we record, which will probably be here soon. But if you listen to the podcast recently, he is getting his pilot's license. It has always been his dream to have his own plane, and so he's working on getting his pilot's license. He flies a paramotor. If you don't know what that is, he has a YouTube channel. You can look it up. Just YouTube Tom Kubat, and he'll pop up. But anyway, so we were going to record, but then he was like, do you care if I fly tonight so he can get hours in so he can get his pilot's license quicker? And I'm like, and then he's like, well, if we record, it's just going to have to be later. And I'm like thinking, well, 10 o'clock at night, and then he has to edit it. And I was like, you have things to talk about, just go on and talk about it. And before, like, especially in the very beginning of the podcast, I was so rigid on, having things set so in advance. And now I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. And it helps my mental state tremendously, where I'm like, I just go with the flow, roll with the punches when possible, because it just makes your life easier. If you try to fight it and you get upset, that's so time consuming and energy consuming when you're constantly thinking about like, well, why did this happen? And another example that I could think of, and it keeps kind of like popping up because every time I visit the new venue, I'm like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Like, what a blessing. And when one door closes, another one opens, and I truly believe in that. So the space that I was going to have the event this year, in the very beginning of planning this event, so like June, July, I reached out to where I had my event last year, and there's new management, and there were so many stipulations. So I was like, you know what? This is not the route. I had a gut instinct that it's okay. It wasn't meant to be there this year. And then I had a couple people reach out to me, and this new place, this new venue, is just so gorgeous and is a whole vibe. And if I would have been so like caught up in the original place, like throwing curveballs my way and, trying to jump through hoops, it just would have taken the joy out of planning this event. And I was like, no, I'm going to wait this out. I didn't know what would happen. And sometimes you just have to wait it out in order for things to come into fruition. So what areas of your life, everything that's going on in the world, like things are thrown at us every single day, like new updates on COVID and what's going on with our military and, all of these things. And it's really easy to get upset. It's really easy to go down this rabbit hole of like why and trying to change everything at once and spending our energy complaining about it. And it's great to vent. Don't get me wrong. It is so therapeutic to vent. But if you find yourself doing that all the time, it becomes very draining, and that's where your energy goes and your focus goes. So when you allow yourself to go, okay, this is way bigger than me. This is out of my control right now. What can I do that will help my mental state right now? I cannot change it right now, but what will make me feel better in this moment? If your kids are at home, if they're quarantining again, if whatever it is, how can you ask yourself, okay, I've been thrown a curveball. Okay, am I going to fight this one, or how am I going to ride out this moment? Because eventually it will change. It's temporary. Everything is temporary. So where can you just ride the wave and look for things that are going to make you feel more content in the moment? And I'm not thinking like, sometimes a glass of wine will. Yeah, definitely. But if you find yourself 2, 3, 4, 5, and then later the next day you're feeling like crap because it made you feel like content in the moment, you're going to have to dig a little deeper. Is it journaling? Is it going for a walk? Is it talking with a friend that is in a similar situation where you're trying to come up with a solution rather than just to be negative? And there are days like that. Don't get me wrong. There are days where you're like, I just need to have a bitch fest right now. Totally cool. But if you find yourself continuing to do that, you need to look for a solution and how you can take care of yourself in this current time and your mental state. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in. Hope to get Tom. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I'm recording and my son Oliver, he's slipping a piece of paper and a colored pencil under the door right now because I talked to him prior. I'm like, I'm going to be recording a podcast. And now he's talking. I'm going to end it there. You guys, remember, you got this, and ride the wave. Have a good one. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you love this episode, make sure you are subscribed so you know when more episodes come available. My goal is to inspire others to become their vision, and one way to get the word out is with reviews. I would really appreciate it if you left an honest review on iTunes, and it would mean so much to me. Thanks again, and remember to go after the life you want. Bye, guys.